For this video, I'm going to walk you through creating a frequency polygon and also creating an ogive. So our frequency polygon is going to look exactly like our histogram. We're just going to use lines instead of bars. So on our frequency polygon, we're going to focus on our frequencies. I'm going to go ahead and copy some of this data over here so we have it laid out exactly what I'm going to plot. So I have a frequency polygon that's going to have some height to it. The thing about the frequency polygon that I may want to do is put a 0 at the front and a 0 at the end, because I'm going to want my graph to go up and come down, and I want it to finish on the axis, if you will, so that it represents a 0 value. Now the values that I'm going to plot are going to be the fact that let's look at this one frequency that happened. This one frequency happened between 400 and 449. So if I told you it happened between 400 and 449, what would be your best guess as the actual value was? Best, and we pick a number between 1 and 10. Everyone's going to choose 5 because it's what's in the middle. So we're going to use the midpoint here to make that happen. So I'm going to say equals this, I'm going to put a parenthesis, equals my lower class limit plus my upper class limit, and then I'm going to divide by 2. Probably could have done it maybe in my head or done a calculator on the side, but the bottom line is 424.5 is the midpoint between 400 and 449. So I'm going to use that as a midpoint to set this up. Now, if I take and copy those values, I'm going to copy them, Control C, and I'm going to paste them here. I'm going to paste special just the values, because all I wanted was the numbers. I paste it as it is now, get the formulas. So what I have going on is I have 424.5 is 1, 474.5 is 1, 524 is 1, and so on down the line. Now, you'll notice that's missing down here is I've got a 0, and I was very careful where I pasted it, so it went with the 1. So I'm going to put here 374.5, because that would have been my next class below that had 0, and my next class above is going to be 924.5, and I'm going to put that guy there. At this point here, it's all about now just making a graph. So I'm going to just highlight this value here. I'm going to do insert, and instead of inserting bars, I'm going to make it a line. So if I insert, make it a line, and there I have it. There is my frequency polygon. Now, my frequency polygon looks right, except for one thing on the bottom. The axis labels here are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and what I really want them to be are these values. So I'm just going to right click on the number, and it's a data issue, so I'll select the data, and over here there's the numbers that they are, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to select it to be these values. So I hit OK. I hit OK, so I end up with a value that says 375.5 has 0 options, and the 824.5 has 0 options, and you can see the scale. Now, if I made a bar graph for a histogram, it had exactly the same shape. We're just connecting the dots along the midpoints. I would argue that the hack marks are in the wrong spot, and we can do that by an alignment issue. It's a formatting issue. We will format those axes, and I'm going to position the axis on the tick marks, and so now I will have it perfectly labeled. I don't need that there because I don't have more than one thing on it, and there's our values. You can turn them sideways if you want, but I think that's a very easy graph to read. So was there ever really 424.5 that happened? Probably not, but that is my midpoint. Now, you'll see some graphs that still use that range area, so we might see, let's see if I can copy this real quick. If I was to say copy, and let's paste, so we can look at what another graph might look like. Another potential, arguably easier to read, and I think I showed you some demos with this, is that if I was to change that x-axis into being something like this, could potentially be argued as being maybe more readable. I have to shift it over because I missed it by 1 by the way it was going. But that might be something that for a newspaper article or someone who doesn't understand statistics might be easier for them to read. So not a textbook example, but potentially something you would actually end up writing someday. Ogive is really just taking and working with the cumulative frequencies. So I'm just going to copy these values here, and I'm going to paste them over here just as the values so I don't end up with any pasting errors. And now what we're going to do is we're going to paste the accumulation, and the thing we're going to focus on now is going to be our upper class boundaries. So I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to put them here. So we have an upper class boundary that goes with 449.5. What we're basically saying here is at 449.5 or less, one occurrence has occurred. At 599.5, it's going to be 15 values have occurred. So we're focusing on those upper class limits. So again, I need to make a lower, because where did I start? I didn't actually start at 1, I actually started at 0, and so this would end up being 399.5 here, and this will take care of everything. All I want to do now is highlight, insert a line graph, and make my line. There is my ogive. It's a cumulative frequency, so there's my ogive coming along like that. Again, my axis labels are wrong. I'm going to select the data, I'm going to edit, make it be these guys. We'll say OK. We've got it made. One more quick check, because now I want to format it so that I'm aligned on my tick marks, and now I'm good. How does this graph read? Well, at 399.5 you haven't had anything happen yet. At 449.5 you had, well, 1. At 499.5 you had that many occur, and so on down the line until we've got to the last ending mark. All of our data has occurred at 899.5 or less. Cumulative frequency, ogive. Frequency polygon, really just the histogram connecting the dots on the midpoints.